Anyone that thinks Crawford has a chance is a complete idiot. They have weight classes for a reason.
Too big? Too skilled?
Way too big, way too skilled.
Better technique. Because 50-50. If 12 rounds, Crawford win, I think.
Does he win? Can he beat him? Can he beat Canelo? Is his skill so much that he's able to bridge the weight classes?
He has a legitimate chance. Over 60% for as my, if you say, Bernard, give me a number.
Give me a number.
He has an 85+ chance to beat Canelo.
Experts are giving their takes on the highly anticipated Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford showdown. Israel Madrimov feels that if the bout lasts all 12 rounds, Crawford holds the advantage due to his sharp power, high fight IQ, and ability to adapt under pressure. Still, Madrimov admits the fight is hard to predict, as Canelo's experience and natural size make him a difficult challenge. To him, the matchup is a genuine 50-50 contest.
If 12 rounds, Crawford win, I think.
Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, what do you think about that fight if they did fight? Looks like it's up for September.
Good fight. You know, if 168 pounds, I think it's Canelo, but it's Canelo better technique. Because 50-50. If 12 rounds, Crawford win, I think. If knockout, it's Canelo.
What makes Crawford so difficult to fight against?
He has power, smart, in more practical.
He has more experience.
He's very experienced.
When talk of a potential Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford fight first emerged, many quickly favored Canelo as the clear favorite. The reasoning seemed simple. Canelo was proven at higher weight classes, while Crawford had just started moving up from welterweight. Showbiz the adult captured this early view, describing the fight as lopsided at first glance. But once training clips and images of Crawford surfaced, the perception shifted. He looked stronger, faster, and well-adjusted to the new weight. Instead of being outmatched, Crawford seemed sharp and fully capable of carrying his skills into a heavier division. The change in opinion shows how quickly perspectives in boxing can swing once evidence of a fighter's preparation becomes visible.
Grounds to stand on. Now, the other second point that I think is becoming a fact is this. This fight was initially kind of a one-sided credited fight where if Terence Crawford beats Saul Canelo Alvarez, he's on a Mount Rushmore. If Saul Canelo Alvarez beats Bud Crawford, it's kind of like, of course. But now the Bud Buddies has gone across all of social media and attacked social media so impactfully, like a plague, that now it's starting to give more value if Saul Canelo Alvarez wins. And let me tell you what I mean. You cannot tell everybody they're haters and they're stupid for thinking Canelo wins and say, hey, y'all gonna find out come September 13th how great Bud Crawford is. And you speak Crawford up, you know, you say, yeah, you said the same thing about Spence and Crawford that beat all these. You just don't know. You know, you have all these all-time great fighters saying that Crawford wins. So come September 14th, if Saul Canelo Alvarez has beaten Crawford or destroyed him, you can't take it back now. You're going to have to be like, Saul Canelo Alvarez is on Mount Rushmore, right? I mean, you can't go this heavy all over social media and then in which social media controls media. So it's everything. You can't flood social media like this and just wave after wave talk about how Bud is going to whoop Canelo and forget boots and all the preparation, all that stuff. And then if Canelo wins, you don't have the same energy.
Rolly Romero represents those who remain skeptical about weight differences. His blunt stance reflects boxing's long-standing truth. Weight divisions exist to ensure fairness and prevent mismatches. Romero argues that no matter how skilled Crawford is, moving up so drastically is a dangerous gamble. He points to history, where fighters pushing too far beyond their natural weight often struggled against naturally bigger opponents. For Romero, The skill advantage is not enough to erase the size gap. He warns that Crawford's brilliance at 147 does not guarantee equal success at 168, especially against a dominant super middleweight like Canelo.
We got Canelo, we got Terence Crawford. That's going to happen in the fall. It's going to happen here in Sin City, your hometown. How do you feel about that matchup?
Anyone that thinks Crawford has a chance is a complete idiot. They have weight classes for a reason.
Too big? Too skilled?
Way too big, way too skilled. And this isn't a skill matchup. It has nothing to do with skill. It has to do with weight.
Bernard Hopkins, a legendary figure in the sport, stunned many by giving Crawford an 85% chance of victory. Hopkins cites Crawford's intelligence, patience, and tactical awareness as key weapons to frustrate Canelo. He stresses that Crawford's adaptability to switching stances, making and fight adjustments has been his greatest asset. Hopkins believes these qualities could neutralize Canelo's counters and pressure. From his own experience, Hopkins knows that disadvantage in size can be overcome with discipline and strategy. By placing Crawford in such a strong position, Hopkins frames the fight as less of a steep challenge and more as a chance to redefine greatness. On the other hand, David Benavidez, who has also fought at super middleweight, favors Canelo, pointing to the decisive role of natural size.
Does he win? Can he beat him? Can he beat Canelo? Is his skill so much that he's able to bridge the weight classes?
He has a legitimate chance. Over 60% for as much. If you say, Bernard, give me a number.
Give me a number.
He has an 85+ chance to beat Canelo. Why? He's not going in there to prove something, which will fall into Canelo's hand. He would love for him to prove something. That means you will stay there and try to prove something. But to go in there and to let him know, establish that from the first round, that I belong without showing that I am tough. I earned my position to be here. And I want to show you, even though you're being stubborn, that your time not only have came, but it's gone. He ain't going to surrender and say, I'll slow it up, so I'm going to act like it. No, he has to be shown. And it has to be early.
Benavidez highlights that Canelo has built his career at higher weights, comfortably handling powerful opponents at 168. Crawford, by contrast, is venturing into unfamiliar territory. For Benavidez, the gap between a natural super middleweight and a welterweight moving up several divisions is simply too large. He stresses that this is not an insult to Crawford's talent, but a recognition of how much familiarity matters at the top level. In his view, Canelo's years of experience in these weight ranges give him a built-in advantage that Crawford cannot replicate.
David Benavidez is choosing Canelo Alvarez to win over Terence Crawford. With that said, David Benavidez has finally given a straight and probably his final prediction for this fight, with him choosing Canelo Alvarez. Now, Benavidez, however, made it perfectly clear that despite him choosing Canelo Alvarez over Terence Crawford, this doesn't necessarily mean that he's actually rooting or backing up Canelo Alvarez. In an interview posted on the Rob's World of Boxing YouTube channel, David Benavidez explained that Terence Crawford, who's pretty much jumping 3 weight divisions in comparison to Canelo, who Benavidez views as a natural super middleweight, will be this fight's biggest deciding factor. Once again, Benavidez clarified that he's not saying that he wants Canelo to win. However, given the circumstances, his prediction is fueled by the weight division argument and not by his emotional or personal views regarding Canelo or Terence Crawford.
Tim Bradley sees the matchup differently. He views Crawford as the superior technician who can outthink and outmaneuver Canelo. Bradley points out that Crawford's adaptability mid-fight has allowed him to dominate across divisions with little resistance. He argues that Canelo's slower rhythm and reliance on timing could be exploited by Crawford's versatility. Bradley speaks with conviction, insisting that Crawford's ring IQ and accuracy will overwhelm Canelo. For him, this prediction is not guesswork, but a conclusion based on consistent patterns in Crawford's performances.
Yo, real quick, just got done. I woke up 3 a.m. I don't know, someone told me to study Canelo, study Crawford. Crawford about to beat the shit out of Canelo Alvarez. I'm letting y'all know right now, he about to beat the brakes off of Canelo Alvarez. Yes, he is.
Brian Bomack McIntyre, Crawford's longtime trainer, dismisses concerns about the size gap. He argues that while Canelo competes at higher weights, he is not an especially large super middleweight compared to others. Bomac describes Canelo as a compact fighter who relies more on strength and technique than sheer size. From this perspective, the difference between the two is not as dramatic as critics suggest. His confidence comes from first-hand experience overseeing Crawford's preparation, conditioning, and sparring, having guided Crawford through countless doubted moments. Bomac is convinced his fighter has the tools to withstand Canelo's challenge.
Walk around big any goddamn way.
Right. Yeah. Now, Canelo is the bigger guy, right? But
he ain't the bigger guy.
That's what they say. They say he's wider, he's got more mass. How are you feeling about Bud going in there taking on Canelo's power?
Shit, I don't give a fuck about that power. Well, how you beat power?
Speed.
You said what?
Speed.
And what else?
IQ.
Timing.
That's why you're the coach and I'm not.
I mean, you make some good, you got some good answers, but that power ain't gonna be able to sustain throughout the fight. Watch. And he usually slows down between 6 and 7. You slow down, that's a fucking rat.
That's what
renowned trainer Robert Garcia also sides with Crawford, prioritizing skill over size. He recalls many examples in boxing history where technical superiority outweighed physical advantages. To him, Crawford is exactly that type of fighter, someone who bends conventional logic. Garcia acknowledges that size can matter, but he insists that true greatness is proven through execution. He praises Crawford's patience, control of the ring, and precise timing, all of which he believes will be decisive. By backing Crawford, Garcia strengthens the case that boxing is as much a battle of intelligence as it is of dimensions.
What are your thoughts on Canelo versus Crawford? Highly anticipated fight, quickly approaching.
I know a lot of people are not very excited about that fight, and they think the size difference, huge difference, but Crawford's big, man. Crawford's a very strong fighter. He's a very smart fighter also. So look, the way Canelo's been fighting his last couple of fights, where he's just looking for one punch at a time and maybe not doing enough to hurt his opponents, maybe not doing enough to finish them off. I could see Crawford pulling it off.
Decision.
I think Crawford could pull off a decision because he's fast, he's smart, and he doesn't need to run. He could stay around Canelo and just pretty much focus on winning a decision. Because I don't think he could knock out Canelo, but he could definitely win a decision.
Marcus Brown offers a behind-the-scenes perspective, emphasizing that Crawford frequently spars with larger opponents, even heavyweights, to sharpen his reflexes and build resilience. Brown argues this training strategy is the perfect preparation for facing Canelo. It ensures Crawford won't be shocked by heavier punches in the ring, as he has already experienced similar challenges in practice. This conditioning builds both physical toughness and mental composure. Brown believes this is why Crawford's transition to higher weight classes will not be as daunting as many predict.
Just 2 more questions for you, man. Just would love to get your thoughts on, we got the mega fight, the big fight, Crawford, Canelo. Crawford said forget all that, catch weight and anything like that. You're going straight up to 168. What do you think about that? How much of a chance do you give him? Or who do you favor in that fight?
I got love for both of them. I like both of them. I'm a fan of both of them, but I'm going with Crawford. Typically fighters, they don't want to say who they want to go for because, they don't want to be biased. Yeah. And much respect to Canelo, but I'm going Bud.
Is there a particular reason why? Like, you're a guy that's moved up in weight, so you know exactly what it feels like to get hit by these bigger guys. Is that something that's going to play in the back of his head? Like,
of course.
Gotta watch out.
It is, but it's not. Because at the end of the day, it's not like he just been in there, got in there with somebody bigger than him. He's always probably been sparring with bigger guys. You know what I'm saying? It's that boxing IQ, which William Skull didn't put up no fight, but he showed somewhat of a blueprint to get this guy, in a space where he's confused. Yeah. And he can't touch his target that's in front of him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I just think Bud got that IQ.
Is that the same thing that you do in your fights? Because, like you said, your last fight was in 2023. That was your first time moving up. Obviously, you beat the guy pretty easily. But is that something where you just like, I know I can beat this guy, I know I got the skills, but he's a little bit of a bigger guy than me. I gotta...
Right. Because this sport is about, hitting and not getting hit, swimming without getting wet, and taking the least amount of punishment. So, you gotta just, be smart and crafty in it.
Just last one for you. And I know you said you gotta be smart, crafty, and things like that. But I know you're also like a really prideful guy. Like I know a couple people that know you in Staten Island, and they always tell me, Mark's is a cool guy, a real prideful guy, never wants to lose at anything. You pick it. Motherfucker want to win at this.
I hate losing more than I love winning.
Errol Spence Jr. acknowledges Crawford's power, but believes Canelo's relentless body attacks will prove decisive. Spence notes that Canelo's commitment to targeting the body has worn down some of the sport's toughest competitors, while Crawford has shown knockout strength even against durable opponents. Spence doubts it will be enough to stop Canelo's steady pressure. He predicts Canelo will win before the final bell, breaking Crawford down through accumulated damage. Spence's perspective carries extra weight, given his firsthand experience fighting Crawford and knowing his punching power.
What is his prediction for the fight? So he finally gives it, and it is the following. He said that Terence Crawford's power is real, and he's felt his power is real, but those body shots from Canelo Alvarez are different. And he said he expects Terence Crawford to get knocked out somewhere around the 10th or the 11th round. Doesn't see it going the distance, and as a result, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people think that Errol Spence Jr. is just hating. And I got to tell you, if he was just hating, he would have the right to do it. Why is that? Because that is exactly what Terence Crawford has been doing to him ever since that fight got done. Terence Crawford was asked who his best wins were, and he didn't mention Errol Spence Jr. He mentioned Victor Postol. So I guess, hey man, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So Errol is not holding back his opinion on the fight and says Canelo's going to knock out Terence Crawford. Now let's look at it for a second and think, is that a realistic prediction? Well, it is. Just like many people picked Terence Crawford to beat Errol Spence Jr. and the entire time that they said that, I was like, yep, he could absolutely get that done. I take Errol in that fight, but I would not be surprised. I'm not writing out that Terence Crawford could win that fight.
Bradley strengthens his case by pointing to Canelo's recent struggles. He recalls how John Ryder and William Skull, opponents considered less dangerous, managed to last the distance and highlight weaknesses in Canelo's game if fighters at that level could disrupt Canelo's rhythm. Bradley argues that a top-tier technician like Crawford should fare even better. He emphasizes that Crawford is not just skilled, but widely regarded as the current pound-for-pound best fighter. That recognition matters, Bradley insists, because it reflects universal acknowledgement of Crawford's dominance. His conclusion is straightforward. The aura of Canelo's invincibility can be broken, and Crawford has the skill set to do it convincingly.
On Bradley, man, y'all better stop with all the misconception. Stop with all the misconception about this Crawford Canelo. Man, I'm here to tell y'all, Crawford ain't getting knocked out. He ain't getting knocked out. Look, where the evidence is supporting that? Where is the evidence supporting that? Just because y'all think he light in the ass, that y'all think that's just it? Man, y'all better do y'all research, man. Do your research. Come with some evidence. I'm about to let y'all know right now. Shit, just pay attention. If Skull, right, can hold Canelo to 152 punches thrown in an entire 12-round fight, 152 punches. You don't think Crawford can? You don't think Crawford can? You don't think Crawford can go the distance with Canelo Alvarez? If William Skull can go 12 rounds with him and keep him at an all-time low, 152 punches a round? Oh my goodness. If Charlo, 154 pounder, can go up to 168 pounds. Respect Charlo's skills, but he ain't got Crawford's skills. If he can go 12 rounds with Canelo Alvarez, you don't think Crawford can go 12 rounds with him?
Crawford's bold jump across weight classes is about more than ambition, it's about legacy. Few boxers in history have successfully climbed from welterweight to super middleweight in pursuit of undisputed status. Crawford's preparation has been meticulous, ensuring the added weight enhances his performance rather than slows him down. His camp has prioritized balanced strength work, nutrition, an entrance to preserve his trademark speed and sharpness. This move is not simply about silencing critics, but about chasing history. If successful, Crawford will join the rare greats who defied weight boundaries and expectations to etch their names into boxing lore.
Around at these big weights, but the fact is, his fight night weight was 169 let's just call it 170 pounds, which is huge, absolutely huge for a 154 pounder. Especially, it's just shocked me that he's come up from 135 and now he's still putting on that much weight. He's rehydrating that much at 154. And indeed, to bring us even closer to the modern day, the thing that was posted, and again, this is the second time we've seen this, is why I'm kind of thinking there's a bit of a theme here with Crawford posting his weight when he's not actually in full training camp. On February the 9th, 2025, he posted an Instagram story and he showed himself weighing 186 pounds on a gym scale. Now, that's so much bigger than I imagined Crawford would be. I never thought this guy would walk around at 186 pounds, which for anyone who needs the conversion is just over 84 kilograms. And now look, it's not an unthinkable weight for someone, but for someone who has fought as low as Crawford has, who is generally as lean and as in shape as Crawford is, that's a lot of weight.